Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is Fierce Female Friday, July 1st, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. Our very special guest today is a Philadelphia native. I'm super excited to have him here. He's done some shows on the stage on Broadway, and I'm super excited to have him here, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, let's welcome our very special guest, Mr. Brian Neal. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. TGIF, and welcome to the Dollhouse.
I know, thank God it's Friday. You're telling me.
Yes. So before we get into this interview, how's your 2022 been for you thus far? Because it's been hectic with everything going on, with this pandemic and everything going on. So how have you been managing thus far, and how's your 2022 been thus
My 2022 is actually going pretty well. I recently moved from Philadelphia to Jersey City after the pandemic kind of calmed down, and I was able to sign to an agency. So I'm starting to like pick up just like a little bit more work that's a little bit more challenging. So like my 2022 is like it's already going great. So I'm excited about 2023.
Yes, and there's so much more to come in the future. It's been a wild roller coaster ride for all
Yeah.
of us. We never expected this pandemic to hit us, and unfortunately, we're here. So let's get right into it. So did you always knew, and how did you start to get your start into acting? Did you always knew that this is something that you wanted to do?
That's a really good question because it wasn't like really my choice, so to say. So I'm from Philadelphia. When I was born, my family moved to New England and Rhode Island, and we moved back around the time I was starting first grade. And ooh, sorry
Uh-oh,
about that.
you're good.
There we go. So like when we moved back to like Philadelphia, we were like taking SEPTA a lot. And one of my mom's rules was because I was the youngest, I could not take the bus home by myself at all. So I always had to pretty much like follow behind like a sibling. So my sister actually was doing the theater thing first, and she dragged me to a class with her, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of fun."
Kind of
And
rubbed off on you. Mm.
yeah, it just like from there, I just like really took off and like jumped into this world of acting and film and off. It's so that's kind of like pretty much how it got started for me.
Okay, okay. So fast forward, you began acting and performing at a very young age as the Wizard in The Wizard of Oz. So what was that experience like for you, being in such a historical, groundbreaking, or shall I say, cult classic that everyone knows, from the characters to the music to everything?
Oh
What
my!
was that experience like for you?
As like a child, I like had so much fun, and I don't even think I was nervous. I don't remember being nervous. I remember doing comical things. I don't know if it was like my appearance or some of the mannerisms I had, but I don't. It's just that I remember the audience laughing, and that kind of made it me feel like really comfortable. So I wasn't like nervous or anything like that. Um, but it was amazing. Like, who doesn't love The Wizard of Oz? Like the like the song from the songs to the story to like the like what it's about, what it stands for. So that was amazing. Just to kind of have that as my first like real bite of the theater bug. Honestly, I think that's probably why I'm still so attached to it now.
Yes, you've done a lot of theater. I've went through your catalog of work, and you've done A Raisin in the Sun and Ruined and Hairspray, which are also iconic classics as well too. So, I mean, A Raisin in the Sun. I mean, we've seen the recreation turn into a film with Felicia Rashad and so many others,
Hmm.
and Sidney Poitier also did it with Ruby Dee as well too. So that experience working on A Raisin and the Sun. What was that experience like for you to be on stage? And did you ever get that feeling where it's just like you kind of get butterflies, even though you say you don't get nervous? I know a lot of actors going into characters, it can be a lot because this is live, like this is live in front of a lot of people. And if you mess up, people will know something. So,
Hmm.
what's running through your mind when you're on stage? And what was it like working on this project?
In all honesty, like the only thing on my mind, especially when it comes to theater, I'm like, I'm getting ready to have so much fun. Because like you said, it's live. You got a couple of people sitting in the audience. They're paying attention to every word you say. At the
Yeah.
time, I had to learn like an accent. It was a thick Nigerian accent. I played Joseph Asagai. So you have people, you have people kind of critiquing and listening, and like they're of course watching the story, but just the fact is, oh man. First of all, I love A Raisin in the Sun. That's one of my like favorite plays. I'm actually kind of sad to hear that they're taking it out of some schools, and I'm like, that story among itself is amazing. Like just out of the context, it's amazing. But yeah, whenever I hit the stage, I'm just like, of course I'm nervous because you want to do well and you know the pressure's on. But at the same time, it's like a switch. You get to go into somebody else. You're just having a regular old day. Like there is nobody there. It's almost like after a while, it's like you really are boxed in by this wall.
Yes. And not only have you done stage work as well, but you've done some acting work like on set and things, which is a totally different experience. Like how we're conducting this interview now live, people, can point out and critique certain things. But when you're on set and that director calls, okay, cut, what's
Hmm.
running through your mind when you're on set? Because it's a completely different element, versus being on stage than being on set, even though there are sets.
It took me a minute to get used to it. Um, as I learned a technique in acting where I really kind of build myself up. So if I'm feeling a really strong emotion, especially if it's a scene where I may be arguing with someone or just another relatively strong emotion, I like to kind of get it all out. I know it's kind of gross, but I kind of think of it almost like a sneeze. Like it's just like I gotta get all of this out, and then we can fix it from there. It was a rough transition at first. I'm not gonna lie. Getting used to controlling your body and really taking the energy and not using it in your body, but more or less in your face. That was it was challenging, but I was up for the challenge. And then I found a new love, being in front of the camera. So it was one of those ones where I was like, okay, there's a difference here, but the fact that there's a difference means like, all right, I can have a little bit of fun here.
Now you said you found a new love being in front of the camera, and a lot. You know where I'm going with this question because a lot of actors are doing it, from Regina King to, of course, Denzel Washington, Will Smith, and so many others. Could you see yourself directing and producing behind the scenes as well too, and writing scripts?
Oh, absolutely. During the pandemic, it's funny you asked this. When everything really hit hard and there were no casting calls, there weren't really a lot of auditions. The best thing you could get was maybe a table read via FaceTime. I started writing and I realized that I like this just as much as I do acting. It's not as much pressure because I feel like I personally don't have to do this. I just kind of create the story, I create
Mm.
the words, and then it's almost someone else's job to kind of bring it to life. So there's a little bit more freedom there. So I could definitely see me behind the camera as a director or some kind of producer or something like that.
And not only that, but for you as an actor, you bring someone's story to life. And I say
Mm,
that because there's so many people out here that watch movies, that watch television, that watch films, and they're just like, okay, this character is so relatable to me. I've been through this situation before as well, also. So
hmm.
it resonates. Do you ever get that from a lot of people that, when you've done your work as an actor, they walk up to you and either they'll give you a bad reaction um, to a character that they disliked, because you've done your job as an actor when they dislike the character and the character has done something evil 9 times out of 10. And then you have the
Mm.
good characters where people are just like, wow, I can relate to this because I've been through this situation or know someone who's been through that similar situation.
Yes, on both sides of the coin. I've been a good guy, and I've played like a story, and someone was like, I kind of felt that, and I've also been like a not so good guy, which I personally have a lot of fun with. I love being the bad guy, and I done had grandmamas and mamas come up to me after the stage saying, "Oh, you was a son of a," so I'm like, that's how I know I'm doing my job because I would never do some of the stuff that my characters do. Um, Well, some of it I would. It depends on the character, but most of it is, it's like I wouldn't do. So it's just that's how you know you're doing your job. I take
Okay.
it as a compliment, personally.
Yes, and you know you've done your job when someone dislikes the character or say, "Well, ooh, I didn't like you. I didn't like you in this." But when
Hmm.
they get to know the person, the thing is you have to separate the character from the person. And I think that's what a lot of people get misconstrued. They'll take it as sometimes you are the character when it's just like, no, you're just somebody totally different. I've sat down with actors, and even I would kind of think that they would be somewhat like their character on television. They're just like, no, not at all. I'm a nice person. It's
Hmm.
completely not me. It's just like, okay, putting on makeup. You put it on, you take it off. So, with the character, it's the same thing. Actors have to have range when it comes to doing different roles. And for you, could you see yourself playing like a superhero in the future or something like that?
I would love to see myself playing a superhero personally. I like the idea of everything that comes along with that. I know it's when you take a role, especially like a superhero role. Nowadays, they're asking actors, "We're not using CGI to fix your bodies. We want you to spend the next 5, 8 months in the gym eating right, kind of thing." So like, I understand that type of responsibility that comes with a role like that, but also like a role like Black Panther, I love that role because
I can see that.
I saw that as an adult and I was just like, oh wow, but I can only imagine if I was like a child and you like the main character, the lead superhero, he looks just like me. He's like, brown eyes, brown skin, woolly hair, like so it's also like a motivation. So like absolutely. I would love to play superhero.
Representation is key. And there are children who are watching this and saying, okay, if I grow up to become an actor, I want to look just like that.
Right.
This person looks just like they have my skin, they're everything. Representation and inclusiveness is key when it comes to acting. Great answer. I hate my friends' characters on some shows. They are opposite. I admire smart actors, so congratulations. And that
Thank,
is dance influencer and choreographer JL Allison. I love
thank
her.
you.
We did an interview and she talked. We talked. I could talk to her for hours. Like we talked about, being in the theater and dance and ballet and some of her influences and things as well too. And the same went for her. Being on stage in that moment with her class and her students. It's a whole learning experience for everybody.
It really
And it can
is.
be nerve wracking with being in this business where, you're being watched and critiqued, especially for me being in fashion. Every eye is looking to see what is she going to bring next. And
Right.
I have to bring it effortlessly, which I always do. I've never missed the mark. So I'm
Hmm.
thankful for that. But for you, what could you see yourself in the future with your career? Because I see so much more for you, like a television show and so many other things. Where have you, when you've sat down, because I believe in self reflection, when you've sat down and thought, okay, after I'm done with this, after I'm done with this role right here, I'm always regrouping and thinking, what is going to be the next move? So for you, what have you manifested for you and your career in the future?
I feel like my next chapter is going to be creating content.
Mm,
So that means picking up the pen. So not just stage writing and movies, but also I would like to write a book as well. Um, because I feel like that's like a whole nother side of art that like I do have like in me that I like to play around with. Um, but yeah, like I feel like like every time I get like a role, it's always a learning experience, not just on the script, but when you're on set, like learning what's the most time efficient way to do this so that we don't have to do it twice. So like learning stuff like that and picking up those little tricks of the trade along the way are really going to help me like move forward, I think, in the future. Sorry about my light. I think I keep leaning on the cord here.
Hi, Liz, TGIF. Make sure you guys go and follow Liz, singer, songwriter, artist, and host of the podcast with Marcos S. Lewis and Ashley. Shout outs to them. And you guys can check that out on YouTube. So make sure you guys go and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, to amazing platform. And they have conversations like this. We're here with actor Brian Neal, and we're talking about right. I love what you just said with just writing and being in the process. thinking and developing. I love to write myself. I've never written a script, but I mean, I could, but what elements for you when you're sitting and you're thinking in the process as an actor, as a creator, what
Mhm.
does stillness mean to you? And when you're writing the process, where do you pull that inspiration from for characters or just the whole story for the film?
That's a very good question. And I would say my inspiration comes from as someone who also is a huge movie person. I love movies. I love anime. I love television. Like I love it all. I can be a I can't be a couch potato. What do I like? And it's constantly the question that comes up when I'm writing is what kind of journey do you want to take this reader or this person watching this play or this movie or this television show? What are you trying to take them through? Do you want them to go through a whole bunch of crazy stuff and it be a sunshine at the end of it all, or is it one of those ones where it's just like it doesn't matter what you did, you were always kind of caught in a catch-22? So I think my inspiration, I definitely pull from different writers as far as
Hmm.
just creativeness. Like I appreciate like certain creativeness and like certain writers, but I definitely say my inspiration would be like, what are you trying to put these? What is the story you want to take everybody through? What's the one takeaway you want everybody to have after this is all said and done?
Absolutely, 100%. And we have a question for you. Do you feel that the focus should be placed on many to-dos at a time, or to make sure that it is done right?
Ooh, good question. Good question. Y'all got them today. I'm personally, I like to do it right the first time. I don't. I
Right.
understand that time is money. Time is the one thing we cannot get it back. However, like if you give it time and you give a script time or you give a character time or you give yourself just general time, it always kind of figures itself out and it's always done the right way. So like me personally, I like to make sure it's done the right the first time and make sure it's done right.
Yeah, and that's for every actor. Like, and even in this field, being a hostess, you got to make sure everything runs smoothly. Professionalism and perfectionism is definitely key to making sure, because you never know who's watching. You want to make sure you get it right on the first mark. Like, I did a horror film back in 2021, went in with no acting experience, and it was my very first time doing an acting role. And I was so nervous. I'm like, I've never done this before, but I kept rehearsing my lines, and then when it came the day to do the film, it all came together perfectly. But I wish, because we know, we actors and creators, we know what happens behind the scenes that
Mhm.
other people, the viewers, do not happen. The funny part is, and I can give you guys, as everybody knows, because I tell it all the time. Everybody kept going over each other's lines. Everybody was saying each other's lines. So that was the funny part about it. And then we finally got everything came together. So that was like a little bloopers behind the scene type of thing, but it was so funny. And then we all got it together and we fed off of each other's energy. So the film came out perfect. So shout outs to Alex Jonte for that amazing opportunity. And another question for you is, do you apply this concept to all areas of life?
Absolutely. I feel like you said it perfectly. You often only get one chance to make a good first impression.
Mm.
And in most cases, especially nowadays when everybody can access you through the click of a button, you normally have the last reel you did or the last picture you took. So, me personally, I like to do things. If I am working a job, I like to do it right the first time so that there is no mishaps. Like I learned personally, and I think I learned that from having a lot of roles where I had to have an accent, where it was a sense of you don't know who's in that crowd. You don't know who's going to see this movie, and you don't want to be looking on Facebook someday and they're saying like, "Oh, the top 10 terrible accents," and you see yourself up there. So I'm a personal person where I'm like, if you do it right the first time, you don't have to worry about getting called out, and if you do, it's just like, well, you're calling me out for being right, so thank you.
And I said this in one of my interviews just not too long ago this week. I said that you never know who's watching. I
Mm-hmm.
did one interview with someone, and yes, I have a lot of big names that come on this platform or whatever. But I was doing one interview. I was a fashion designer that I was interviewing. fresh off the ground, underground fashion designer, getting his brand started and everything. And it's amazing. He was in the UK. Melba Moore came in the audience, and this I'm just like I was starstruck. I didn't know what to do. She was sitting right there watching the interview, and I had to keep it professional and not lose control and everything. But I'm like, this is Tony Award winner Melba Moore. Like she's EGOT status with Whoopi Goldberg and Jennifer Hudson and so
Mm-hmm.
many others. I've looked up to this woman since I was a little girl. And to see her in the audience right here viewing me on Instagram, I'm just like, wow. So she was saying, oh my God, you're beautiful. Keep up the good work. Things like that. So it's always good. You never know who's watching because your reputation will follow in this business and it could
Exactly.
surprise you instantly. Another question is, have you ever allowed a close to affect your way to affect your way and the way that you would make you question your artistry?
How do you mean a closed effect?
Have you ever allowed I guess a closed door affect you in a
Oh,
way that you would make you question your artistry? I'm
um,
guessing that.
when I when I first started out, if you mean like a closed door,
Yeah.
it's funny you bring that up. I went to an audition and it was a modeling audition. Well, it was an audition period, and it did not go the way I liked. In fact, it went like terrible to the point where I was like almost ready to break it all down. Like, and I spoke to my like older sister, and she said something that my grandmother told her, which was like, it's okay to be sad about something. It's okay to be mad about something. Be sad and be mad for one day, but if there's something that you can do about it, get up tomorrow and do it. And one of the issues that went wrong in the audition were they were asking for a particular type of body type, and I didn't have that. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna just go to I need to start studying nutrition. I need to start putting myself on
Yeah.
a workout plan. I need to start weighing myself. If that's if that's what it takes. So like those closed doors, they used to kind of shut me down, but some honestly that kind of gets me excited because we all know like we all one yes away. All I need is one yes. I need like it's sometimes all you need is that one person to be like, you know what, I'm gonna give you a shot. So it's like now that I understand what that closed door truly means through like maturity and like living, not anymore. Now it's like, okay, you're on the right path. You just have to you just got to keep fighting.
Absolutely. And you said modeling audition. It's very in the fashion world. It's very cutthroat, dog eat dog. Everybody's looking for a certain type of image, a certain type of body type, a certain type of skin. They're looking for all of these things. It's so my advice to people who are looking to get into that industry is if you are wanting to get into an industry that is based on beauty or your image and things like that and such, you prepare yourself. Make sure you have a thick skin because there's
Mm-hmm.
going to be no's and then there's going to be some yeses and then there's going to be a no, but there's going to be a no, not right now. So the thing is, how do you handle no? You take that no and take it as it is, and whatever comes along, comes along. So you just be
Mm-hmm.
patient. That opportunity could happen. So that would be my advice to people who have been told no. Even I've been told no to certain things and had doors closed in my face. It happens to a lot of us in the industry. But the thing is, how do you pick yourself up and keep going and recover from this? Because there's always something brighter in the horizon. And that's
Oh,
how I
that's right. That is right. I agree with you. I agree 100%.
absolutely. So we're going to get into our games with Brian, ladies and gentlemen, and then we're going to take some questions from the audience. The first one is called the Rapid Five. And Brian has to tell me five things that he can't live without. It can be just in life in general, your goals, your passions, or dreams, or whatever. It can be your family, anything that you like. Some people will say their favorite football team. They will say their favorite food. It's different things for the rapid five. So whatever you decide to go with for this list, we'll definitely take it. And then the next one we're gonna do is called his thoughts. So I'm gonna go through a list of actors who have done Broadway, and you give me one word to describe each of these actors. All right. So we're going to start off with the rapid five. What are five things that Brian can't live
Okay. The first thing I'm probably gonna say is my girlfriend's pregnancy pillow. Um, I can't sleep without that. I'm gonna need that. I need that. Um, Five things I can't live without. Well, of course, food. I'm like one of them people where I stress eat. I eat when I'm bored. I don't be hungry and I'll be like nibbling on something. Um, I know this is gonna sound bad, but I need my cell phone because I've been on set without it and I almost like kind of went a little crazy. If not a cell phone, then a book. That's three. Two more. Um, I would say like my little family. So like my girlfriend and our dog. Like those two. Like it's like weird when they're not around or when they're too quiet. I'm like it's quiet in here. What are y'all doing? And the last one, I'm gonna have to say my Metro card because that's starting that's starting to be
Get them out.
that's taking the place of my car now. So I'm like, all right, that Metro card is important. Those are the five things I think I'm a need on a daily basis.
All right. That's his five, ladies and gentlemen. Shout outs to Miss TJ Sauce. Check her out, Miss T and J Sauce. She has the mayo-based sauce, so you guys can go and check it out. Um, Definitely go and check it out. We did an interview together, and she's coming back sometime in August. We're gonna do letting you guys know here because I have been working. I have been working, getting things set for October and August. She's coming on the show with me and three other ladies, and we're gonna have a panel. So we're bringing Girl Let's Talk back. It's gonna be four Black women, and we're gonna be giving our perspectives on the industry as well as being in different fields. So you're going to get an actress. We have Rose Underwood. She's coming back. Fashion Ristas is going to be making her first time here on the Dollhouse. And we have Miss T and J Sauce, who's been on, Angela, who's been on previously. So it's going to be myself as well also. So you're going to get four women of color and four different perspectives. And we're just going to be talking about the industry and things that we've encountered, so much more. So tune in for that sometime in August. We're bringing Girl Let's Talk back. No, you're not late. We're about to turn the tables. It is time to now turn the tables with Brian. And Brian is going to ask me some questions as well. And then we're going to do the, I forgot just that fast. Dumb blonde moment, y'all. Please forgive me. We're going to do his start, not turn the tables, because we did turn the tables yesterday, but today we're going to do his thought. So I'm going to go through a list of actors who have done Broadway, who have done work on stage, and you give me one word to describe that. Okay. So the first actress that we're going to go with is none other than Debbie Allen.
Mm. One word. Mm. I was hoping to save this one to the end. No. You know what? I'm gonna save that one to the end. I'm gonna say fierce.
All right.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
say fierce.
absolutely. All right. Sidney Portier.
I gotta use it. Iconic with a capital I. You kidding me? Gotta be with a capital I.
All right. Harry Belafonte.
Creative.
Hmm. Cheryl Lee Ralph.
Shirley. What was she? I think
Dreamgirls. The
Dreamgirls.
original Dreamgirls.
That's right. That's right. Um, I say fantastic because all of my other words are like they don't make sense. But I'll say fantastic.
All right. Loretta Devine.
Hmm. Can I say in control?
Ooh.
I'm missing. I'm not thinking of the word that I would like, but I want to say in control.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Because she got me started on my one man show. So this one is personal. I would say Ooh, I just saw time. I like Timeless, but I want to. Damn, man, I already used Iconic. I knew I shouldn't have used Iconic that early. You know what? I think I might have to take Timeless. I might have
Okay.
to take Timeless. Thank you.
Felicia Rashad.
That was my mama growing up. You couldn't tell me that was my mama growing up. Um, the only word that comes to mind is royalty,
Mm.
queen. Like that. Yeah, if I had to say a word, like I would definitely say like royalty. She gives me a very every time I think of her, I always think of like, a woman who's really in control of everything.
And we've got two more. Wayne Brady. I know he's funny, but he's
I'm a,
he's done theater. So
he has done some theater. He's one of those ones, I'll say wild card, in the sense of you give him a script, you don't know what you're gonna get, but you're gonna get something that's worth paying attention to. I'll tell you, I'll tell you that. Like you're gonna get something.
range, range. Again, I
Range.
think it's
Ooh, that
acting.
was perfect. That was perfect. I know I was all right. Okay.
Okay, and last but certainly not least, Ryan Neal.
Mm, hungry.
Okay, all right, all right, all right, fashion dolls. That concludes his thoughts, and I've seen some questions in the audience as well too. So, all right, JL Allison wants to know, the dance legend herself. She wants to know, what do you consider your happy place?
That Ooh, y'all hit me with the real 1-2s today. This is the third one y'all that hit me that making me. I'm like, who am I? Well, I'm in like a transition point in my life from like being someone who was very independent to thinking that I needed to be independent and like I couldn't really ask for help. So I would say my happy place is literally anywhere my little family is. That's my happy place because it doesn't matter if I got the part or if I signed a good contract or a bad one. I come home and like the dog is always happy to see me and my lady is always happy to see me. So I definitely say like my happy place is like I guess it would be this apartment here for right now.
All right. Family is a key thing and it's very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
100%. All right, we have another question from you from Liz. She wants to know, what is the meaning of acting to you? How does it feel to not be yourself in a role?
The meaning of acting.
Yes, what is the meaning of acting to you?
I'm gonna pull from the actor's technique that I first learned when I was knee high to a butterfly. Exploring the magical if through
Mm,
Stanislavski. Um, his method was learning to use the magical if. What if I grew up without a father? What if I grew up with one arm? What if me and that girl over there fell in love? Like that magical if is what acting means to me because for 1 second it doesn't matter what's going once again it doesn't matter what's going on outside. It doesn't matter what kind of day you had for like an hour at rehearsal or a couple of hours at a play. You could be literally anybody.
mhm.
Normally that's the most fun too, but
Any more questions, fashion dolls? While we're waiting on people to type, because it's going to take them a minute, I'm pretty sure they got some questions that they're waiting to ask you. My question is, what advice would you give to young boys, brown brown and black boys and brown and black girls who watch theater and
mm,
watch television and say, okay, wow, I want to be a dancer or I want to be just like Brian, I want to be an actor. What advice would you give to them?
personally, if because of it's funny you say that my nephew at one point he is also an actor and he's told me on several occasions like he's seen me in Hairspray, he saw me in Ruin, he saw me in just about everything and he's like I want to be just like you. My advice to him is set your sights higher, be better than me. Take if I fall, pick up where I left off and keep going. But the kid is, I know the kid's gonna do better than me because that's always how it is. The younger brother is always better than the older one. But yeah, I would say young brown black boys and black girls, set your sights higher, because my sights is only, I just want to win an Oscar and a Tony. Win three, win four, take over if you want to, but it's just like, you know, it's good that you see me for what I am, but it's just like, it would really make me happy if I saw you like zoom past me and like set a new record. So that would be my advice if you're like watching me like, oh, I like him. I'm like, all right, well, catch me if
And
you
originality
can.
is key. Originality is definitely key. So 100%. That's what I would say to anybody who's looking to get into acting as well. Also, like, it's it's so much, and it's a lot of work. If this is something that you're passionate about doing, go for your heart's desires. There's instructors, there's classes out here.
Hmm.
I remember when I did my interview with J.L. Allison, I don't know if she's still here or not. We talked about that, and that was some of the advice that she gave as well. Also, if you're looking to get into this business, you got to mean it. You got to go for the gusto because,
Hmm.
again, like you said in the beginning, you never know who's watching. All eyes are on you. You would be surprised, and I would be surprised that people would come back and say, "Well, I've watched your interviews. I've watched the platform." I'm like, "Little old me, little old girl from South Carolina. You watch me. You watch my platform." It's shocking. It's surprising. You would never believe who says they watch. So it's amazing, and it's a journey. So if this is something that you're passionate about doing, go for it. Make yourself. I love to create vision boards. So, and I'm looking at it across the room over there. Um, Whatever it is that you've envisioned or that you put on your vision board or your list of goals or ambitions or aspirations, um, make sure you go down that list and check it. And I know for me, I go and I check it every day to make sure that this is something that I really, really want to accomplish. So far, I've had some obstacles of getting in the way. It hasn't been easy, but the thing is, how do you handle it? You keep going. Let me see. Oh, great question. What is your Zen method before auditioning for a role?
Um, my Zen method, personally, I'm a meditator. So I'll wake up just about every morning. I wake up and I meditate for about like an hour. But when I like to call I like to call it when I'm falling. That I into my character situation. I like to listen to classical music and physically let myself fall or change. That
And
normally, if I feel myself getting a little bit too antsy, I love listening to reflections, or literally anything by Bach. I think normally like is my that normally calms me down and allows me to fall or change.
okay, okay, all right. Any more questions, fashion dolls for Brian and myself? This was such a amazing interview and conversation, and I sure hope that people that are watching this can take something from this because there's so many outlets out here that can help you if you're looking to become an actor or director or producer. You have to be willing to put in the work. It's so much that you have to do. Like this is a business. This is not a game at the end of the day. So don't get on set and thinking that okay, if I do this, it's gonna go like that. Not a question, but I'm always rooting for you, Brian. You're super talented, and I know that life changing role is coming.
Thanks, Darren. That's my brother.
Oh, that how does that feel to know that your brother and your family is watching you and they see you on stage? Because I know from I remember when I was in middle school, we had to do a little play or whatever it was. And it can sometimes be nerve wracking because your parents are right there watching you. They're rooting for you, cheering you on. And it can kind of bother your nerves a little bit. So for you, how does it feel knowing that your family's supporting and watching and rooting for you 100%?
Honestly, it feels great. I like to think back to like when I was an athlete. My dad was a coach. After every game, no matter how bad I played, he
That
always shook
pep
my hand.
talk. Mm-hmm.
Some games I played a little worse. He was shaking a little looser. But when I started acting again, um, there was a play where I did the play about a good 12 times, and he went to all 12 shows, sat in the front all 12 shows. And like after every show, it was like that was like the biggest bear hug I think he's ever given me. So it's like having that support system from my spouse to my family to my friends of people just saying like, hey, listen, I know it's rough, but like just keep going. Like I may not know exactly how else to say it. It means a lot because there are some days where you just like I can't do it much longer. I can't take rejection much longer. But like my mom will call or my dad will call or my brother will call, and it's just like,
and
well,
give
just
you
like
that
wait out
time.
just like a little bit longer, you know. And it's something like that get you through the day, and you're like, all right, like let me stop tripping. Let me just put my head down and just keep on grinding at it. Eventually, you're gonna hit land eventually.
And it says it on my crop top today. Stay humble and
Hey,
apply. Yes, it says it on my crop top today. So shout outs to Blue Haze Clothing for that. It says it 100%. And JL Allison says support means the world, no matter family, no matter what. Family is your happy place, especially when you have your own. Yes, it's nothing like a solid, amazing support circle. Hey, now's the time, my colleague. That man has been with me for a very long time, throughout my entire career, to see me watch and progress and to be where I'm at. So shout outs to Now's the Time. We love you, nephew. You are going to be one of the greats. Keep up the good work. We are all rooting for you. More family.
yeah, that's my uncle. That's my uncle. Thanks, uncle. Appreciate it.
See, and that's what people need in their life, because some people get so caught up in this business, they lose sight of who they are and they push away the ones that have been there for them in the beginning. But for me,
Yeah.
and I told my mom this because my mom always tells me this. She said, no matter where you go, don't get, you ain't too big yet. Don't forget, don't forget your family and put God first in everything that you do and the ones that have helped you get to where you need to be. So I'm truly thankful for those that have helped me get to where I'm at in my life. So keep a solid support circle because they'll be with you no matter what. Those day one A1s will be there.
Agreed. And they're rare too. Those ones
Absolutely.
that truly like they don't want the money, they just want to see you do well. Like that's very rare to I'm like as an adult, I see it now. It's very rare to find a complete stranger who's not your family. That's just like, I just want to see you do it. I don't care how much money I get out of it. Like I just want to see you do it because I want to see you happy. It's I agree. A support system is like I think that that's a make or break, honestly. If I could take back actually one of my answers from earlier,
Go ahead.
um, I'm gonna take back the phone. If I could have like access to my support system in some shape or form, I think that's what's going to be. Because no matter what I'm going through, I'm sure my support system is like, all right, like we gonna figure it out. Like let's not even trip about it. So I'm taking that back.
And you've mentioned your father. Your father, fathers are going to be, when it comes to their boys, they're going to be there giving them that pep talk, especially if they're doing like sports or whatever, because you said you've done sports as well. Fathers are going to be like, okay, motivating you, and you kind of need that encouragement
Oh
to keep
yeah,
you going and flourish, especially being an athlete. It's all about motivation.
I agree.
Um,
I agree.
oh, okay, that's a good question. What advice would you give to young people who want to act but they fear that they're not good enough?
Um, we all have the same fear. We all have something in common. That would be my advice. Like you are, I guarantee you, from your first monologue to your last one in your career, there's going to be a bit of uncertainty. There might be a little bit of doubt, but you are not the only person who fears that. So we're all thinking the same thing. We all want to make it to the end of whatever line we're saying. So I would just say, my advice to you is just do it. Jump, take that leap of faith, like
Mhm.
actually go forward with it and understand like, hey, we're all nervous. At the end of the day, like we all say we're not nervous, but like when they say 5 minutes before curtain up, we say thank you five, like everybody gets a little jittery because it's like we're human. So I would say go for it because you never know how much fun you're missing out on, and you're missing out on a lot of fun.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. Do we have any more questions for Brian? Ladies and gentlemen, this is such a great conversation and interview. And again, I hope you guys are paying attention and taking notes on this. Family is watching. So that's big. How does it feel to know that your family's watching, rooting, and cheering you on in the comments?
I'm sorry, you went in and out. I love that.
I was saying, how does it feel to know that your family's here watching, they're rooting, cheering you on, letting you know how proud they are of you?
It literally takes all of the pressure off of it.
Mm,
It kind of reminds me of like performing when I was back in Philadelphia, in the sense of no matter what I did, if I tell my dad, he's like, "Oh, you'll get them next time." You know, if I tell my
encouragement.
significant other, it's just like, "Hey, it's not the end of the world." But the fact that like I'm coming up here, the competition is different, the stakes are a little bit higher, and I'm like, I still get nervous from time to time. It feels good to have like an older sibling or like a father figure have that like tough talk. It's funny you brought that up because my father's normally the tougher one, like, "Hey man, knock it off. You fine. You staying up there. You're not coming home." But like sometimes I need that because it's just like this is what you've wanted since you were like 6, and you finally are in the process. So family definitely makes a difference. That family definitely makes a difference.
Absolutely. 100%. S1 Ray says, love you 100%.
That's my older sister. Love you too, Shawnee.
See, family is it's all about that support circle and having the ones that truly care for you 100%. Do you feel like you're competing with others or yourself?
That's a really good question. I would say that comparing yourself is a thief of joy. So your triumph may be someone's like triumph like last year, but it's new to you. So if you're going to sit there and compare to somebody, now it's not that important, but it's just like you did something you never did before. So I would say that the competition should be within yourself. Me personally, my
Mhm.
competition is with me. Like if I didn't audition that great on Monday, by Wednesday I want to come in there and knock it out the park because
Yeah.
that's really the only person worth beating. That's the because at the end of the game, that's that's how you get to where you want to get to, is making sure that you check all the boxes off, that you're like fixing yourself whenever you kind of fall down a little bit. So I would say the competition is with me and not so much as with the guy to my left or the guy to my right.
All right. Shout outs to actor Sonny. You guys can check out Sonny in Black Straight Blues, which is a Dewan Ford film. You guys can check that out. Hopefully it should be on Tubi TV, so go and check that out as well. Shout outs to Dewan, Sonny. We had a great interview. So a lot of people that I've interviewed on the platform or connected to someone that I've interviewed are coming back. Again, you never know who's watching. All right,
Agreed.
fashion dolls. We are now at the end of the interview. We don't have any more questions. Brian, let everyone know where they can follow you and if you have any upcoming projects and where can we go to support.
Well, you can follow my Instagram page. It's my name. It's I am Brian Neal. Um, I recently, since I moved out to Jersey City like 2 months ago, and I booked a role in I would say it's a romantic. Yeah, like booked a short role in a short film where it's a romantic. I would say romantic drama, and that should be coming out at the end of the summer. There was a little issue with production, but as of lately, I'm still in classes and I'm still getting my feet wet and kind of enjoying life up here. So, if I have anything, you can definitely go to my Instagram and you'll see it.
All right, stay tuned. Make sure you guys are following him. I want you all to have a safe and very blessed 4th of July weekend. And Sunny says, congratulations, nice breakaway.
Thank you.
All right. Again, that encouragement, that motivation. And I'm going to leave you guys with the thought of the day, which is to keep going, follow life, and live life with fire. I love you all. Luke Ryder will be here on Tuesday because I think Monday is the 4th. I love you all, Fashion Dolls. No show Monday, so we will see you guys Tuesday. The lineup is already up. Make sure you guys are staying safe during this weekend. Wait, we got a question. No more questions for me. I don't want to open him. You're not, and that's what the question break is for. The question hour is for so that the audience can get their questions in, in a certain amount of time. But I love you all. You guys, please be safe. And Brian, I would love to speak with you again in the future.
Of course. This was a lot. Like you said, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
All right, fashion dolls, you guys take care. And this interview will be up on Style by Stevie Daytime. And great news, the page reached 5,000 followers. So thank you all so much for your love and your support on FB, the FB page for Style by Stevie. So make sure you guys are following and staying tuned. We have some more amazing guests coming up. So you guys be safe and enjoy your fourth weekend. Take care, everyone.
Bye.